So today marks the launch of the World Antimicrobial Resistance Awareness Week and the publication of our Veterinary Antibiotic Resistance and Sales Surveillance Report, which is also called the VARSS report. So we know that antibiotics are absolutely vital for treating bacterial infections in both animals and people. However, any use of an antibiotic can drive antimicrobial resistance. And if a bacteria develops resistance to a particular antibiotic, then that antibiotic is no longer effective for treating that particular bacterial infection. It's therefore very important that we reduce any inappropriate antibiotic use in both people and in animals in order to reduce the risk of antimicrobial resistance developing. So you may notice that in this year's report, the numbers for antibiotic sales and use look a bit different to how they look in the previous report. And that is because we've updated our methodology for reporting antibiotic sales and use in food-producing animals. And we've done this to reflect the new European metrics, which were developed and adopted by the EU recently. And the reason for doing this is that with these new metrics, it better represents the UK food animal population. And it also means that the data we publish is harmonised and can be compared with the data that is published in the European ESURAVET report. However, the good thing is that the key trends haven't changed, even though the numbers look different. So what does the sales and the usage data tell us this year? Well, one of the things to say for the sales data is that the sales for food-producing animals, the levels have remained steady between 2023 and 2024, but there has still been a 57% reduction since 2014. In addition, when we consider the last resort antibiotics for human use, which are also called highest priority critically important antibiotics, their use has remained very low in food-producing animals, and they account for less than 0.5% of overall sales. So now let's move on to the usage data. So this usage data is collected voluntarily by the different livestock sectors. And when we look at the use data, there is a mixed picture. For the aquaculture sectors, so that's the salmon and the trout sectors, there's some really good figures and they're actually reporting their lowest ever usage data. However, when we look at some other sectors, including the game bird sector and the pig sector, there has been an uptick. And we give a lot more details and a lot more context within the VARSS report itself. When you consider companion animals, so dogs, cats and horses, we're seeing some continued reductions in the antibiotic sales for dogs and cats. And for the first time this year, we're also reporting usage data from the equine sector, and this has been collected by the British Equine Veterinary Association. There's not just antibiotic sales and use in this report. The report also contains 10 years of clinical surveillance data, and this includes antimicrobial resistance data for bacteria that cause disease in sick animals. The good news is that this has decreased for most sectors, and this is likely as a result of the commitment of the UK vets and farmers to embrace responsible antibiotic use and also reduce inappropriate antibiotic use. So to conclude, there's been some really great progress, but there have also been some challenges, so it's important to continue on this road of improving antibiotic stewardship. And certainly stewardship and surveillance is the key to preserving the efficacy of antibiotics for the future, and that's in both animal health and in human health. So if you want to find out more and get involved in this antibiotic stewardship journey, then please visit the UK VARSS report to find out more about the antibiotic sales, use and resistance data. You can also contact your vet or farming association if you want to find out more about different initiatives for the different sectors. In addition, for vets, there are some free online CPD, very extensive library of online CPD that can be found on the RCVS Knowledge website.